What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Triathlon News Day Tuesday. In this week's edition of Triathlon News Day, USA Triathlon is handing out money, just making it rain all over the place. Speaking of money, one of the biggest IPOs in endurance sports history is about to go down this summer. And also coming back to USA Triathlon, they announce a new series of races. What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to Triathlon News Day Tuesday, where every single Tuesday, as long as I'm not traveling and there is news to talk about, we talk about news that goes on all around the triathlon world. As always, make sure you stick around to the end of the video, where everyone's favorite part of Triathlon News Day Tuesday, that's where we feature a story from the Trainiacs out there. And as always, full links to everything we talk about will be in the description below. Let's start things off with USA Triathlon has opened up applications until March 22nd for their USA Triathlon Foundation Pillar Grant. Since 2014, the Pillar Grant has doled out $2.4 million to clubs, individuals, and organizations that go to supporting one of the three key focus areas of USA Triathlon, those being youth in the sport, disabled individuals getting into the sport, and helping people pursue their dreams of getting to the Olympics. Now, if you want to apply for this, if you are an individual, an organization, a coach, a club, links to the application are in the description below. Now, sticking with USAT, did you see that, Mel? That was first try. Not bad. USA Triathlon announced a series of youth races, speaking about getting more youth into the sport, and this goes in line with USAT's mandate of building up the sport of triathlon just in general, kind of filling it with the youngsters out there. A series of 59 youth races that are going to be held all across the United States at existing or new races. Now, these races are specifically geared towards kids age 7 to 17, and they are shortened events. So the swim is anywhere from 100 to 400 meters or yards. The bike is anywhere from 2 to 10 kilometers. The run is anywhere from 1 to 2.5 kilometers. Now, this is fairly similar to the Canadian Kids of Steel program, the Splash and Dash that we have here, and it's been enormously successful at building up our youth in the sport. ITU superstar and total stud out there with his mustachio, Tyler Mislawchuk, he came from the Kids of Steel program, I want to say. Now, in big money hustling news, one Peloton, the online streaming and hardware service where you can buy a $2,200 stationary bike or a $4,200 treadmill and then subscribe to a $20 a month online streaming service where you tune in and group classes for running or cycling are held and you follow along, or you tune into pre-recorded classes. They have decided that the underwriters for their upcoming IPO are going to be JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs. Now, here's where things get really interesting. As a former investment advisor, this IPO is valued at $8 billion. Okay, big number, but let's put that into context. One Peloton has 600,000 subscribers. Apparently they have just 300 million in revenue. Now you're like, oh, okay, whatever, what does this mean? Well, here, let's put this into context. Also valued around $8 billion that are fairly similar companies that have a hardware component and then another component. Harley-Davidson, valued at $8 billion. Whirlpool, valued at $8 billion. Xerox, valued at $8 billion. Now you might be saying, well, you know, this is a tech company, they're different. Well, remember, one Peloton has just 300 million in sales. Harley-Davidson, 5.5 billion in sales. Whirlpool, 21 billion in sales. Xerox, 10 billion in sales, yet somehow they are valued all the same. As a former investment advisor that really liked blue chip stocks and did not invest in a lot of tech companies, hey, you know what? I can legally say this now. I don't know if I would get in on that IPO. Seems overvalued. My compliance officer would have lost their minds 3 years ago. In race results, the only thing that was really happening over the course of the weekend was the ITU Oceania Sprint Triathlon, which is kind of like a second-tier ITU World Triathlon Series, like the short course, the really fast athletes type of event. The men's side was won by Taylor Reid of New Zealand in 55:46, and the women's race was won by Joanne Miller of Australia in 1:03:51. Now these are kind of the races that the youngsters have to go through to get to the ITU World Series, so we might have future stars there. Quick update on the podcast, go to check out the Triathlon Taren Podcast. We just published a killer of a podcast with James Mitchell, who you might not know, but guaranteed you've seen all of his pictures on Instagram. He is the personal photographer to Lucy Charles. He's also starting to work with Patrick Lange. Personally, I think that he is probably one of the best triathlon photographers out there, totally self-taught. And it was funny, he was in literally the pain cave with Lucy and Reese as he was recording it, and they were like chirping at him in the background, talking about tea and things that British people talk about. Also, in a couple of days, we are going to have an interview and feature Brent from Effortless Swimming, who just did an analysis on me on his channel that we'll link to at the end of the video, about how he has helped me shave 7 seconds off my 100-meter averages over the course of the last 6 months. Should be a good little chat. Now, let's get into this week's Trainiac Story, which starts off by saying, "Hi Taren, my name is Luke. For the last 30 years, I've punished my mind and body with alcohol and other intoxicants. Over the last couple years, I came to the realization that I was an alcoholic with extreme anxiety and depression. As all good alcoholics do, I thought that I had a handle on my addictions and everything was going great until one fateful night in September 2017, where I hit rock bottom and nearly lost everything, including my beautiful wife of 23 years. It was time to act. I accessed the help I needed and went to rehab to beat this awful disease. In rehab, they told us to look after both mind and body when we got back into the real world. I'd already dipped my toes into triathlon with a couple of sprint distance races I'd done previously, and I decided that this was how I was going to get on the straight and narrow. Once out of rehab, my wife and I sat down, we worked out a plan to get me healthy. I signed up for a season of racing and I was off and training hard, preparing for my first Olympic distance race, which I completed weighing 220 pounds or 100 kgs, coming in at 3 hours 35 minutes. I've since done a couple of sprints, another Olympic distance in 2 hours 53 minutes, weighing just 87 kgs or 191 pounds. That's a 30-pound loss and a massive PB of over 40 minutes. I've just celebrated my first year of living sober, and I couldn't be happier or healthier, all thanks to triathlon. Over the last year, I've learned so much, met some amazing people, made some great friends, and I feel I've become a part of a big family that is triathlon. I'm currently training to race in my first Ironman 70.3 in Cairns, Australia in June 2019, which I'll do with my beautiful wife as inspiration. All I can say to those on the edge is just start. It'll hurt, it'll be hard, there will be tears, but as you grow, there will become tears of joy for what you achieve will be truly special. Regards, Luke. Congratulations, Luke. That's a good one. I like bringing in people who lose weight, who help with, triathlon helps them with mental illness, who get help with addiction or whatever it is. Triathlon, it helps a lot of things. It's a sport that you can do whether you are 330 pounds at a starting point or 150 pounds. We had the story of the person who started into triathlon because he was losing too much weight, but it's such a great sport because it just helps you become better from wherever your starting point is. So congratulations on getting your shirt together, Luke, and for growing that wicked beard. So there you go, Trainiacs. Thank you for watching this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday. If you want last week's edition of Triathlon Newsday, click it up here. If you want to see that video from Brent from Effortless Swimming, it's one of the longest ones that he has ever put out. That is down here. And if you want your story shared here on Triathlon Newsday, email me. Oh crap, I had those backwards. Maybe it's over here. Email me at Taren@triathlontaren.com. Later, Trainiacs.